30 degrees.
If Indianapolis Center, do you have any test operations restricted area 2508?
Aries 31, roger. Traffic is quite luminous and is exhibiting some non-ballistic motion, over.
Roger, Aries 31. Continue to descend at your discretion, over.
Okay, Center. The traffic is approaching head-on, ultra bright, and really moving. They're right by us right now.
There are 1,000 UFO sightings reported around the world every month. 90% of these sightings can be explained, but 10% cannot. Officially and unofficially, the U.S. military has been investigating UFOs since 1947. Their top secret goal is to find out what's behind these unexplained sightings. The Pentagon classifies them as unusual airborne anomalies, but a better term is X-Files. Join us now as Mac, Wanwan, and Commander Cobra explore these unsolved cases, UFO incidents that baffle even the U.S. military. This is Mack Maloney's Military X-Files. And now, here's Mack Maloney.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. Well, what a show we have for you tonight. An all-music show tonight, though it does have some paranormal elements to it. But first, let me introduce the members of the posse. Girls, get ready. Sit down. Get your misters, your fan, your big box of Kleenex, and your apparently big box of wipes, because the very famous Wanwan is here.
Hello, Mac. How's it going tonight? Welcome to the show, girls and guys, and all ships at sea. Welcome to another edition of the Mack Maloney Show.
Are you excited about
As you know, Mac, I live for this.
Yes, you do. You send me notes about that almost daily. But look at,
Especially when rock stars are on the show, too. This is like my element.
There you go, yes, because you're a groupie. No. I don't like them. Okay. Listen, so anyway, girls.
I wouldn't have signed up with IATSE if I wasn't a groupie.
Let's get into that later, okay?
Okay, we will.
Okay, sorry, middle-aged ladies, MILFs, as they say on the street. Coco is not here. No Coco tonight. He's on a secret mission, 2-week secret mission. Okay, though I hear from him more when he's on the secret mission than when he isn't. You know, he just bombards me with stuff.
He listens to the show on a secret mission, doesn't he? In the cockpit.
Yeah, in the cockpit, I guess. Anyway, up there in Battle Creek, Michigan. Once again, by the time we introduce everyone, the show will be over. Battle Creek, Michigan. National correspondent, Switchblade Steve Ward. Switchy, how you doing? Switch.
It is great to be here tonight.
Okay.
I'm as excited as Wanwan is.
Really? Is that possible? Is it humanly possible?
Let me tell you.
Okay. And you look good. You're still, without the beard, you look good. You look suave, if I can use that word.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. It looks like he put some electric shave on that after shaving. Is that right? Is that what you use?
No, I go. I'm a little bit too macho for that. I just, go without it.
Really? Yeah, that is macho.
Yeah.
That is macho. Go with your natural scent. Good for you. So anyway, so now where do we get? Oh, why don't we go and introduce Raven? Hopefully she'll stay with us for the next 2 hours. Raven, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
She's a big fan of one of our guests, and we'll get into that in a moment. Okay, let's start with Mark Poulin, my buddy Mark Poulin. Mark, how are you doing? Mark is a famous musician.
How you doing, Mark?
Great musician. Used to play John Lennon in Beatlemania or Beatlemania band, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which band was it? Beatlemania?
A band called Help.
Help.
Oh, it's Help. Okay.
Yeah. We saw them many times. They were great. You didn't have the look, but, man, you had the sound. You really had the sound down, you know?
What do you mean I don't have the look?
Well, there you
Come on.
Looks just like
John.
Wow. He can barely put his glasses on. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let me go across the board to Richie Kennedy. Richie, how you doing tonight?
Good. How you guys?
Yeah, the only one who's dressed looks
great.
like they're dressed like a rock star. I mean, really, right? Look at them.
I just came in from outside, actually.
Well, Matt, I dressed like Ozzie Nelson's illegitimate brother.
Ozzie Nelson or Ozzy Osbourne?
Nelson.
Ozzie Nelson.
Yeah.
Really? Wow, you're really going down that road tonight there? On Social Security app?
On Google.
Okay. Wow. Okay, let's get to the introductions. Matt Malley, bass player for Counting Crows, is in the house. All right, Matt, how you doing?
I'm good, Mac.
The recovering rock star.
It's a support group right here.
Okay, right. Yeah, there you go. We should start a support group. Also, next to him, Chris Billias, the mastermind, the genius behind Sky Club. In his
How are you,
studio.
Mac?
Good. How are you tonight?
Good. I'm a little nervous on my maiden voyage here, but
really?
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah? Okay. Not to be
George Mountain of the Sky Club.
Not to be cruel, but next time wear a hat. Wear a hat there, Chris. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Also now, hey, Don Falcone is joining us from San Francisco. Another music producer. Someone else is in the biz. Don, how you doing?
Doing good. Good evening to you from good afternoon.
Mm-hmm. And you look like you got the coolest background of everybody here. You look like you got it all going on there.
I'm in my home studio.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, got a lot of keyboards around. Yeah, that's great. So anyway, what we're going to talk about tonight is, music, but also the reason that everyone here is kind of connected is that we've done 2 CDs called, and the name of the band is Sky Club, and the reason that that's the name of the band is another story in itself. But we did one CD about 7 years ago called Sky Club, and for what it was, which was a bunch of us not really know what they're doing, except Chris Billias, the producer. It came out pretty good and had kind of a minor hit with "Can You Hear Me" by a Mike and the Mechanics cover.
Mac,
CD.
what blew me away with that record was the cover of that Spirit song.
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
When I heard that blew, I had to dust off my Spirit album from which that song derived.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that great album cover of the.
Right, yeah. Spirit was
each one of their faces. I loved that record, and I loved your cover of it. It was fantastic.
Thank you, one. Yeah, actually, that's
gives me goosebumps when I even think about it.
You should be thanking Mark and Richie because there's 2 guitars going back and forth in that. Do you remember that, guys?
Yeah.
Remember we did that, and when we filmed the music video at Roger's house, playing that song.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Do you remember that, Richie? And I remember,
yes, I do.
I had to write out the notes on the keyboard just so I it looked like I was hitting the right keys. Anyway, behind the scenes,
color coded
with a Sharpie, huh?
Yeah, like that. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we have a new album coming out called Roswell that Sky Club is, and has this CD album, whatever you call them these days, and all the songs are based on either UFO incidents or people that I've kind of run into since I've been in the UFO community for let's say 10 years since we've had the show. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that tonight. But I really like musicians' stories, and as it turns out, why don't we do this? The producer, Chris, real quick, can you, and Dawn, you can probably tell us too, but the producer, so for people who don't know, let me just see if I get it right. So you're going to a modern day recording studio these days. A lot of people have home studios, but Chris works out of Bristol Studios, a famous place in Boston, and you can lay down tracks. You can be like a one-man band, a one-person band, let's just put it that way, because it's like a pie, like a cake. You put down a layer of drums, you put down a layer of bass, you put down a layer of piano, guitar, and singing, and you have the record, and then the producer will put those all together, put some effects on them, and kind of make it into a recording, a record that you hear on the radio. Is that right, Chris?
Well, yeah, that's pretty much what we do. I think you also want to kind of get the right direction, because it's like, trying to put circles with squares. Sometimes they just don't match up.
Mm-hmm.
And,
right.
So,
and what you guys,
essentially,
I'm sorry, but what you guys at Bristol Studio do a lot, you have people who wind up on America's Got Talent and that kind of stuff, right? And that.
Oh, yeah. We have a big vocal department here. We had somebody who came in like a runner-up in America's Got Talent. That was 2 years ago, and we have some people. I think it was in Spain somewhere who actually won The Voice.
Really? Yeah.
It's a pretty good program. Yeah.
But it takes some. It takes training. I was in there. I've been in there for a few of the nights that they do the auditions, and it's mobbed in there with these kids that want to be on these shows. But it takes training. It's not just natural talent, right? I mean, you got to really kind of hone it, right?
Oh, totally. And, you don't know what you know until it really gets pointed out to you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And that's part of it.
So, hey, Don, what do you think of those?
That's one of the things that I would add that. So there was a time where you had probably more of a delineation between the mixer or engineer and the producer. And what has happened over the last couple decades is all of the tools are available so that you could do all of it. And so, putting the tracks together and mixing them and setting things and adding effects, on one hand, that's a mixing action.
Yes.
But then making decisions on it and guiding it in a direction, that's more what I consider the producer.
The producer, right.
And I think the hard part is what you don't want is it to sound like a karaoke and, some famous person just came in and added their part.
Right.
You want it to sound like a band, like everybody was actually rehearsing and playing, and that's usually the challenge, getting musicians and the mixer or producer to bring all that together.
See, I should throw this too. I'm sorry. I was just going to say.
Just to tag on.
Go ahead. Go.
Just to tag on to that, not only do you have the mixer and the producer, but now you have the artist actually singing all the tracks and doing like the whole production and being the featured star or voice on it too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's why we're trying to give you a microphone.
Right. I'm going to throw it to Matt Malley because he's told me this story many times before. When the Counting Crows did their first album, their producer was a famous guy named T-Bone Burnett, right? And he's very well known. Okay, and he gave you great advice. You've told me this before on how to play the bass, right?
Yeah. He gave me the golden egg of rock bass player knowledge, and like a bass players have been in bands all our lives and been told to match the drummer, lock in with the kick drum, blah blah blah. But T-Bone told me, well, monkeys can do that. You can train a monkey to lock with the kick drum. Anyone can do that. What you got to do is play on the late side of the kick drum's decay or sustain. Like the middle of, like the kick drum has to be the attack, and the bass player has to tuck in after that attack on a kick drum. Not, and also don't play a bass note every time there's a kick. That's what indie bands do. I mean, nothing against indie bands, but you don't want to just lock in with a kick. But he said a lot of things that were really gold, and that was one of them. He told me that a great bass player will bend time.
Yeah, bend time.
You'll make the drums sound bigger. By being on the backside of the drummer, you'll make the drums sound better and bigger, and that's part of the bass player's role.
Yeah.
So that was eye-opening.
And the producer is someone who he has to kind of corral everyone together, wrangle everyone together, and get the like the best performance out of them, therefore out of the band, right? I mean, that's his goal, right? Matt? Yeah,
and he's kind of a lightning rod. He'll say this is everyone point towards this. We're all going to go to this area, now this genre or this delivery. So if the band's got this folk rock delivery and one guy's playing punk rock on the guitar, the producer's role is to say, no, you're on the wrong page.
Really? Yeah, okay. So when we were doing the Sky Club album, we did none of this. All we did was just make mistakes the entire way, and 1 out of every 9 things we did worked out. But as it turns out, we're talking about the producer, and it turns out we have 5 questions for Chris Billias, the producer. Sorry to ambush you, Chris. Yeah, Raven, do you have the list, Raven?
I do.
Okay,
I have it right here.
You ready for this, Chris?
Yes.
I don't know.
5 questions for Chris Billias, producer, Bristol Studios, please.
Bring it out.
Number 5.
Number 5. What's it like to bathe in the glory of the sunlight brilliance of a creative force of nature like Mack?
What's it like?
I can only wilt under his awesome presence.
Okay, there you go.
Reaching up for sunlight.
You got the memo.
That's funny because Juan and I wilt quite a bit.
Wow. Switchy, why are you sucking the energy out of the room, Switchy? Next question, please. Raven.
Number 4. Is it true that you once won a Best Music Award for a porn movie called Jack and Jill Went Up the Hill?
No,
Jack and Jack.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I screwed it up. Jack and Jack.
Yeah, we did. A friend of mine and we did a soundtrack for a. Whatever. Yeah, we did a soundtrack. It was work, and we did end up getting the Golden Penis Award.
There it is. It's in the studio every time I'm in.
It's a real award.
Can you display that now?
Yes.
We wanted to send it back and forth like every year. We'd share it, but I just.
Wow. Okay, he was polishing it the last time I saw him. Okay, next question, please, Raven. Next question, Raven.
Oh, you got a good memory. I had forgotten about that one.
How could I forget that? Go ahead. Next question, please, Raven.
Next question. Did you know that Juan was once a roadie for the Rolling Stones? And if not, would you like him to tell you about it?
Absolutely. I'd be thrilled. Were you really?
Do I have to tell him now?
Sure. In 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, let's rephrase that. I wasn't a roadie. I was local crew for the Rolling Stones twice in the Boston area, a town called Foxborough, where the Patriots play, in their crappy older stadium called Sullivan Stadium.
Into sports.
Right.
Steel Wheels came into town, 1989. You remember 1989 Rolling Stones? They almost broke up in 88.
Yeah.
That's when Keith Richards came up with a solo gig.
Yes.
Talk is cheap.
Yes.
But their reunion was Steel Wheels. The most unbelievable staging. I can't remember the name of the set designer, but he's famous. I can't remember. He did Pink Floyd. He does everybody.
Yes. And
the Steel Wheel set was like 25 tractor trailers, and there's like a ton of power. It was like unbelievable. So when you're a local crew for the Rolling Stones, and you've got a bare football field. You've got all hands on deck pulling power and all hands on deck climbing steel.
He did
up
that.
to as much as 10 stories. That's where I was.
Why don't we
steel for the 10 stories high for the elevator that was built into that for a Sympathy for the Devil, just for the Sympathy for the Devil song.
Juan, can I interrupt
primarily
you?
a lights and sound guy.
Juan, okay, good. That's good.
Cool.
That's the elevator
So
picture.
6 days of setup, 24 hours a day, 12-hour shifts, and 24 hours to strike the set and load it up.
Let's see.
And get the field ready for the Patriots, who are actually going to be doing a practice game the next day.
Yeah. Did they win? Listen,
There were two shows. There were two shows that day. That weekend, it was awesome.
Let's just move on to the next question, please, Raven. Thank you, Wani, for that bit of history.
You bet.
Number 2, did you know that Juan Juan was once a roadie for the girl band Heart, but passed on doing a European tour with them because of romantic entanglements with blonde guitarist Nancy Wilson?
Ooh.
Will we talk about that now?
Well, no, I guess we don't have
This is all a
time.
surprise to me, Chris. This is like, I didn't know this was happening. Been blindsided by this.
Okay, why don't we just go to the last question and we'll settle it out of court. Please, Raven.
Okay.
All right.
It took you and Sky Club 10 years to record
This is
2
Chris.
CDs.
This is for Chris.
In that time, and in today's dollars, what represented the largest capital outlay, the hookers or the coke?
Oh.
It was actually the M&Ms.
Inappropriate. Yeah, that was my line there, pal. Okay.
Brown ones?
Green ones.
Inappropriate.
No green M&Ms.
Put some fake applause in there. Okay, good. Well, listen. Why don't we take a commercial break now to just make sure everything's okay, and we'll be right back with the whole game. We're talking about music tonight, and I'll introduce everyone when we come back. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Mill Tracks Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. We'll be right back after this.
Do you know where the world's most secret bases are located? Do you know what spooky action at a distance means? Is there a conspiracy by aliens to prevent us from conquering space? And where is the best place in the United States to see a real UFO? Find the answers to all these questions and more in Mack Maloney's new book, Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe. Visit places you never knew existed: the Phantom Tunnels of Tokyo, the UFO Trail in South America, Hong's Hat, and the very mysterious M Triangle. Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe contains hundreds of reports on ghosts, haunted planes and ships, weird celebrity deaths, mysterious sounds, and a breakdown of every monster in America, state by state. You've heard him talk about it on the radio. Now, get all of Mack's paranormal research in one large volume. Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe, with a foreword by the very famous Juan Juan. On sale now in your local bookstore or on Amazon.com.
Maloney's Mill Tracks Now show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. What a show we have for you tonight. All music, but there will be some paranormal elements introduced later on in the show. Very quickly, girls, very famous Juan Juan is here. Wani.
Hello, Mac. Hello, everybody. Hello, girls.
No Coco tonight.
Welcome back to the show.
He's on a secret mission. Coco. Sorry, ladies. Switchblade Steve Ward is with us, though, our national correspondent up there in Battle Creek, Michigan. Switchy.
Great to be here.
Okay, good to hear. Raven, the person with classes up the show every night. Raven is with us. How are you, Raven?
I'm doing well. How are you?
That's good. Well, you can tell.
Good to see you, Raven.
Also, so
Thanks for having me.
We'll go around the horn. Mark Poulin, guitarist, singer, drummer, the whole 9 yards. Mark, how you doing?
Good, Mac. How are you?
Thank you for greasing your chair, if you know
I'm
what I
glad
mean.
to be here.
Also, our friend Rockstar in Recovery, recovering rockstar Matt Malley, bass player, the Counting Crows. Matt.
Hello.
Okay.
Good to be here.
Raven sent me an email earlier in the day, said, I love the Counting Crows. I can't believe I'm going to meet Matt Malley. So, Raven, is everything you thought and more?
It's so much more.
So much more. Oh, wow.
An overweight middle-aged dude.
Don't. It's radio. You don't have to tell anyone that. Also, a friend, a producer at Bristol Studios in Boston, very famous place, Chris Billias. Chris, how are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great tonight. Ready to rock it.
Okay. You're in your home studio, right? You're not at... Where are you?
I'm actually at Bristol.
Oh, are you really? Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The new Bristol, which is an old bank. Just the fact that it's an interesting place. They put a recording studio in the bank, and some of the recording studios are in the old vaults and everything. It's really kind of nutty. Great place to record. Also,
the vault.
Yeah, they don't bother moving the vault.
No, it'd be impossible.
Yeah, what's in there? I wonder.
Talking.
Who knows?
About nutty. I'm assuming that San Francisco is nutty, as our good friend Don Falcone out there in San Francisco, also a music producer. Don, how you doing?
Good, just south of San Francisco.
Okay.
And real quick, you might not know this, but besides keyboards, I was actually a bass player first.
Uh-oh.
So the tie this to Matt.
That's cool, Don. Yeah. That's very cool. Brothers United.
Well, yeah, okay. We have a segment coming up later on that you might not agree. Well, listen, before we get to that, we have to go to, and I'll explain why everyone here tonight, we're all kind of connected in one thing. But first, we have to go to the SKU, as they call it, the most listened to part of our show, which is Switchblades. Steve Ward, what did he have for breakfast? Now, Switchy, last week you had rum cake, right? And then you were passed out for the rest of the day.
No,
and then
I think it was the week before, wasn't it?
You shaved your beard and couldn't remember what happened?
No. Last week was...
that was the week before, yeah.
Scrambled eggs with green pepper, cheese, and then some bacon.
That's right.
And hot black coffee.
That's good. Okay, and the bacon was not...
Trying to eat healthy now.
The bacon was not expired, right? The bacon was not past its expiration date?
No, not like a few weeks before that.
We had that incident.
That was scary.
That was an incident, yes. So listen, what did you have
I'm not
today?
sure it was real bacon.
The jury's still out. What did you have for breakfast today, Switchy?
This morning I had 2 frozen waffles in the toaster, and
yes.
I had to pop them out several times to make sure it's just right.
Yep, right.
You don't want to underdo them or overdo them.
You got it.
A little bit of brown with butter.
Butter.
And then the bacon was... the bacon was not past its expiration date, but it had a little bit too much fat in it. So by the time it was cooked, it became the incredible shrinking bacon. Bacon nonetheless, and with hot black coffee.
Flaccid bacon. Okay.
That sounds delicious.
Okay. It sounds okay.
It was, with log cabin syrup, by the way.
That's
Do you
right.
like your waffles that are just to the point where they're almost starting to burn, like...
Not
a little
too
bit
much.
of smoke is just starting to come out of the toaster, and you can
a little bit of brown, but I don't want them too burnt. No,
right.
Every week.
I think my husband's that way too.
Right. So, but
round or square.
Round or
square.
Round or square.
Good
the waffles.
Waffle. I mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What?
Square waffles.
Square waffles.
I like round waffles. I like round.
You ever
waffles.
Ventured on the round side? You know.
To walk on the round side.
He got drunk. He got drunk one night. Okay, so listen. So let me just explain why we're all here. And the thing is that everyone in the room more or less is connected to these 2 musical projects that we have done. One is called Sky Club, and the second CD is called Roswell. And Mark and Chris and Matt myself and Richie play on them. With the first CD, we had a kind of like a minor hit with a Mike and the Mechanic song called "Can You Hear Me?" So let me just very quickly see if anyone can remember these things, because my memory is kind of full of like Swiss cheese. So Mark, let's go to Mark first. This started so many years ago. We were at Roger's house of recording in Newburyport.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Nice place in an old house, an old Victorian house. The recording studio was in one room, and the controls and stuff were in the other. A comfortable place, it's like you're recording in someone's living room. But Roger had a ban on bringing any kind of intoxicants into the recording studio. Are you following me? So now,
right.
So what we used to do is when you're recording the instruments, we were always really kind of on the straight and narrow. We do that usually in the day, as it turns out. We'd come back at night, and I bought a pair of cargo pants. We had all the pockets on the pants, and I'd get those little nips of Jack Daniels, and I'd walk in. We'd walk through the engineer's place. We'd go into the recording studio, and I'd get Mark drunk. And would you say, I don't want to say drunk, but would you say that 80% of the vocals on the first Sky Club album were under the influence?
Yeah, maybe close to drunk, whatever that means.
Okay. All right. So,
couldn't hit my ass with either hand. Not that bad.
One of those
background vocals by Jack.
And the first song that we started with, and the musicians might get a kick out of this, was the first song we recorded for that album, which we never used, was Strawberry Letters 14 and 17 by the Brothers Johnson. Do you guys know them? Do you guys know the musicians? Know
Strawberry
that song?
Letters
30,
72 or something?
Yeah, 13 and 32.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
30, whatever.
Great
song.
It's a great song. Lee Rittenhauer plays the guitar solo in it, and Mark played the guitar solo in it. And our idea was we were going to take these kind of soul songs to make them prog rock songs type thing. Who knows what we were doing when we made that decision? But we just completely screwed up the song. It was terrible. It was like we kind of wrecked the song, and we felt bad. But then we did, I guess. I don't know. I guess we did probably Silent Running, and it felt, it was better and so on. So we did it. So I just remember a lot of those nights down at Roger's house, just doing those, endless recordings. Mark, is that your recollection?
I want to hear all those outtakes.
Jesus.
That Strawberry Letter solo?
Yeah.
I had to cheat and put the cable down wherever and just use pull-offs I could never go down.
Playing the solo, yeah. The solo's crazy, yeah. The solo.
Fell on a cheater.
So anyway, well, it sounded good. Someday what we should just do is use the music from that and put something else to it, because we'd have to call Roger's lawyers first and have the tapes released. You know what I mean?
Yeah, how do you get away with that?
It was not a good breakup, as it turns out. So what happened was, we take the tapes. And then Richie was there. We should just get into this. Now, Richie came up from Florida, and he played on a bunch of songs, like all in one day. Do you remember that day, Richie?
Yes, I do.
Okay. He came in.
Wild.
Played about 4 or 5 songs. Did a music video. Then we had lunch, and then we went and made that video at the bar room. Remember that? And then we did the interview up there.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
I remember I prepared for the wrong song.
You had prepared.
You guys started playing one of the songs, and it was a cover, and I forget which one it was, but there was another song by that title, and that's what
really.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Hey, these things happen.
So
different pages.
So, Rich, you were playing something totally different?
Yeah.
And it sounded great.
He's telling us now. 15 years later.
Is that the Spirit song?
I think it was.
Mechanical World? Yeah.
Yeah, Spirit was like this interesting band. They were like a psychedelic kind of jazz band. I remember their drummer was like 40 years old, and when they were out in the late 60s, it was like this guy was ancient. But they had some really interesting songs. And Don, you must know of them. They were from San Francisco. They're from that area, weren't they?
I'm not from San Francisco. I'm from Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. And you're admitting it. Okay. All right. So, I thought you grew up.
Yeah, I got here in the 80s.
Oh, okay. All right. You know of Spirit, though, right?
Yeah.
Fresh garbage.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Love it. That album is just terrific.
Yeah, the first
You know,
album
the
was
drummer
really
of
good.
Spirit was actually a World War II vet, I believe.
I believe it.
He was. Yeah,
I believe it.
Oh, the drummer? Yeah, the drummer?
What's his name?
Ed Cassidy.
Yeah, he was
They were all old guys.
Ed Cassidy. Yeah.
The drummer was older than the band, the rest of the band.
Okay, so
Is he one of their fathers or something? Or am I
his uncle, one of his uncles. He wasn't he one of the uncles?
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
like 20 years older than the rest of them? Yeah.
And then the other
Went
guy,
through a rough patch later on.
Randy California. Randy California was
Randy California. Yeah.
right. He was
Randy California.
he was
Jimi
the
Hendrix.
Jimi
Jimi
Hendrix.
Hendrix named him that.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix named him that.
Because they were two Randys or whatever, and he had to differentiate, so he called him Randy California.
He actually played in a Jimi Hendrix
Who was the
band.
bass player? Mark Andes or something?
Mark
He went on to
Andes.
Oh,
play
yeah.
guitar.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he also did, what's that?
Jojo Gunn. And Mark Andes.
Yeah,
played.
that was
Mark Andes played.
that was
in-
Mark Andes, right on that.
Right. In Hot. He also played in Hot. He played the bass in Hot. And that's
Thunder Island music.
Okay.
Wama got the romantic entanglements with blonde guitarist Nancy Wilson.
Yeah, you know, it sucks when you have a real day job and you have a family and you want to go off and hit the road and it's like I can't do that.
Can't do that.
Thanks for the offer, but I can't do it. No,
Well.
I can't. No, I can't hang out with Nancy Wilson. She can show me some riffs on the bus. You know.
Yeah.
No, I can't do that.
Is that they call it these days?
I've got kids.
Now what your kids are calling it?
On the bus. Jeez. All right, listen. Why don't we do this? Why don't we, Raven, you have another list. Now that we have all these musicians here in this room, there's a bunch of questions I've always wanted to ask musicians. I do not have the musician DNA, but you people are overflowing with it. So why don't we go with the top 10 questions I've always wanted to ask musicians. Raven, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Number 10. Why are musicians never on time?
Why are musicians never on time? They're all laughing, but they don't want to say. Look at they won't even look at the camera.
Nobody wants to answer.
Right.
That's how strict the band leader is, I guess.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
They're on time. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's a hoax and fake news.
Uh-oh, get cheated on the edge.
Oh, wow. Okay. Next,
It's an aggressive way of controlling your band.
but it's the funny thing is, and I just want to say that, especially drummers, who the whole idea is to keeping time, they're frequently tardy. Right around drummer time. Anyway, number 9.
Oh, they
please.
rush the tempo.
Oh, they rush.
It might have something to do with the lifestyle, Matt.
Oh, really? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know.
Another show.
Oh, God, yeah. Recovering.
We have a 2-hour show. All right, next question, please, Raven. Questions you always want to ask musicians, please.
Okay. What do you call a guy who hangs around with musicians?
What do you call a guy who hangs? This is as old as my kindergarten class. What do you call a guy who hangs around with musicians? Please.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Right. Yeah.
Ready?
Yes.
A bass player.
Oh. I thought it was a drummer. Isn't it a drummer?
I thought drummer would be.
Yeah.
The drummer is the right answer. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay.
Trombone. Hey.
Trombone, yeah.
Next question. Next question.
The sax player.
So I played trombone for 7 years.
Really?
In high school and college, and then switched to bass guitar.
And you're admitting that, yeah. It was.
That's good.
Okay, go ahead.
That's a good
experience.
Trombone,
Wow.
bass, picking them off.
Next question, please. Questions we always want to ask musicians. Please, Raven.
Why are musicians always such shrewd businessmen?
Okay. That's an inside joke, yeah.
Raven. Not the ones I've known.
No one knows anyone who's a shrewd businessman who's a musician. Sorry.
Well, I mean, managers, I guess.
Inside. There you go. Right. Yeah. Someone asked that to John Lennon. He says, if we knew, we'd start a new band to be managers.
Right. There.
Okay. Next question, please. Raven.
All right. What do bass players use for birth control?
What do bass players use for birth control? Oh, here we go. Look at this cutie.
Can't wait for this answer.
What's the answer?
Their personalities.
Of course.
Ooh, bass guys, man.
Raven, easy there, Raven.
This is we've been our crowd has been added to with our little friend Rose. There she is. Rose.
Cute. Hello there.
God.
She's blocking her ears for these 10 questions to musicians. Next question, please, Raven.
Next question. Okay. What do you call a guitar player without a girlfriend?
What do you call a guitar player without a girlfriend?
You're not going to say bass player, are you?
No. That'd be inappropriate. What's the answer? What's the answer? What's the answer, Raven?
I think I've heard this, but I can't remember.
Homeless.
Homeless, of course. What else? Okay, even the kids laughing. Okay, next question, please, Raven.
What is the difference between a large pizza and a musician?
What's the difference between a large pizza and a musician?
One? Okay.
Go ahead.
Family of 5.
Go ahead. Oh, Richie knew it. What is it? What's the answer again?
A pizza can feed a family of 4 or 5.
That's cruel, man.
Cool.
Next question. Questions you've always wanted to ask musicians. Please, Raven.
What's the difference between terrorists and accordion players?
What's the difference between a terrorist and accordion players?
Not much.
Not much.
No difference.
Go ahead, Raven. What's the answer?
The terrorists have sympathizers.
Terrorists have sympathizers.
What? What was the answer?
The terrorists have sympathizers. Okay, next question. What question are we on, Raven? Please, is the number one?
3.
3, okay.
This is number 3.
Questions you always want to ask musicians. Go ahead, please, Raven.
Number 3. Okay. Why do most people hate the banjo right now?
Why do most people hate the banjo right off the bat?
Right away. Right now.
Yeah, why do people hate the banjo right away?
Right away.
What's the question? What's the answer?
Time in the long run.
It beats time in the long run. It saves time in the long run. Let's do that again. Hold on. Let's do it again. Do that question again, Raven. Just read that question.
Yeah, I that up.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Are you ready?
Yes. Next question, Raven, please.
Why do most people hate the banjo right away?
Why do most people hate the banjo right away?
Hate what? Playing it or hearing it?
Both. Please, what's the answer, Raven?
It saves time in the long run.
It saves time in the long run. You hate them right away.
Yeah, get it.
Next question, please, Raven.
Number 2.
Almost at the
what
end.
do you call a beautiful woman on a keyboardist's arm?
What do you call a beautiful woman on a keyboardist's arm? All right, what's the answer?
What was that, Rich?
A tattoo.
A tattoo.
Oh,
come on.
Now that's funny.
That is. All right, why don't we go to the last question? 10 questions you've always wanted to ask musicians. Please, Raven.
Okay, the number 1 question. What do you call a drummer in a 3-piece suit?
What do you call a drummer in a 3-piece suit?
A valet.
Close.
Nope.
Go ahead.
The defendant.
The defendant. Let's do this. Why don't we take a commercial break now? Put some additional.
Did you read that book by Charlie Watts?
I'm going to give it to you. I had to give it up. I couldn't read it anymore. The guy was too dogmatic about drumming. Yes. Yep.
You want an apple?
I'm starting to write. I'm starting to read John Oates' book from Hall & Oates, which is a great story. Yeah, it really is.
Boy, everybody's writing books now at
they're good.
At a late age. I think Bill Wyman's got another.
Does he really?
Coming out or something.
Okay, so we're going to go into a commercial break now.
Be like 90.
Richie is Rosie right there? Is she right there, Rosie? We're going into a commercial. This kid is funny. In 20 years, she'll say I was on that show. So why don't we take a commercial break now, and we'll be right back after listening. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show, all music show tonight. The whole gang is here, and we'll be right back.
There you go.
There you go. We'll be right back after this.
UFOs are found in Renaissance art, on ancient coins, and etched on cave walls. They are even reported in the Bible. But more surprising is when UFOs are seen the most, in times of war. Through centuries, thousands of UFO sightings have been made by high-ranking officials, military pilots, and ordinary soldiers. Often, these fantastic appearances occur at the height of great battles. From World War I to D-Day to Korea, Vietnam, and beyond, military investigators are baffled. Why do UFO sightings spike so drastically during wartime? Could it be mistaken aircraft, or is someone or something looking in on us? In UFOs in Wartime, What They Didn't Want You to Know, Mack Maloney chronicles centuries of these incredible sightings and tries to solve the puzzle of why so many UFOs are seen while humanity is at war. Read about the scare ships, the ghost planes, and the ghost rockets. Alien giants in the jungles of Vietnam. UFOs controlling our ICBM bases. Dogfights with flying saucers during the Gulf War, and more. 300 pages of unbelievable stories, along with many startling photographs. That's UFOs in Wartime. What They Didn't Want You to Know by Mack Maloney. On sale at your local bookstore or on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. Well, what a show we have for you tonight. Let me introduce everyone who's joining us tonight. This is an all-music show. We're talking about all music, but there is some paranormal elements to it, I promise. We'll get to them later on, girls. Very famous Juan is here.
Hello, Mac. Hello, girls. Hello, everybody.
Okay. You don't have your Irish hat on tonight? Should I even ask? Why don't you have your Irish hat on?
No, I don't. I just have a nondescript, non-logoed...
Okay. So for the first time in 8 weeks, you're not copying my look. Wait, where are my shades?
No, I don't have my scally on.
Okay. All right. Everything okay?
I don't have
do we have to be worried about anything?
Pajamas on either.
Ooh, wow, okay.
Is that a onesie?
I'm surprised I don't have a onesie.
We used to go in.
They sell everything now for Crown. I didn't know they were going to get in the clothing business.
Wow.
With the trap door.
The trap door. Just make sure you put them on the right way.
Stones have their own store. Number 9 Carnaby Street. It's like
Do they sell pajamas?
It's like, they're like the Jordan Marsh of the rock world.
Like they name on many. So listen, girls, ladies, middle-aged lady. No Coco tonight. He's on a secret mission. But joining us is our national correspondent, Switchblade Steve Ward, up there in Battle Creek, the Battle Creek of the Republic. Switchy.
Great to be here tonight.
Okay, now you know nothing about music, so you must be being educated. I shouldn't say you know nothing. No, hold on. I don't mean that.
I am a film soundtrack freak.
You and I join. Yeah,
documentary soundtracks.
We share that.
We've already talked a little bit about a certain soundtrack, but later on in the show, I'd love to guys chime in on that kind of music creativity.
I'm big on that. Let's introduce. Okay, I would say looking around the panel here, the prettiest member of the group is Raven. Hi, Raven. How you doing tonight?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Raven.
What's it like?
Thanks for having me.
It's
Can
a girl.
You measure the pulse of the show, the vibe,
I was going to say she's
the aroma.
The vibe.
The aroma of the show.
Yeah, can you tell?
The aroma.
The aroma.
10 out of 10.
Cool.
10 out of 10.
All right.
Okay.
That's the way we like it.
She's surrounded by 8 musicians and 2 guys who think they're the musicians. And she's still smiling. So, okay.
Aroma.
Raven, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Okay. So let's go to Mark Poulin, the human jukebox.
Right.
Mark, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Okay. Let me introduce everyone else and I'll explain why we're all together. Chris Billias, producer down at Bristol Studios in Boston. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Mac. I'm doing good.
Okay. This isn't when you expected it to be, is it?
I never know what to expect with you.
Perfect answer.
So in a way, I expect it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
Expect the unexpected.
Pretzel logic.
That was very introspective.
Okay.
Ew.
We have our...
Did I ever tell you look a little bit like Gene Hackman?
You look... Gene Hackman?
Oh my God, you're right.
Gene Hackman?
Gene Hackman, yeah.
I don't think you look anything like Gene Hackman.
Looks like Gene Hackman in the Royal Tenenbaums.
That's a bad thing. Yeah, Royal Tenenbaums.
Have you seen that movie? That movie rocks. You like that movie, Raven?
So good.
It's such a crazy movie. Everybody in that movie is crazy.
All the time with the hitting on Raven. All right, listen. Let's go to our recovering rock star, Matt Malley, Counting Crows. Matt, how you doing?
I'm still reeling from Raven's questions about the bass players and stuff, but I'm okay.
Okay, we can see. Now you're growing your beard back, right? Because you shaved your beard, and what happened?
Well, my wife said I'm too ugly. I got to grow it back.
Oh, wow.
That'll do
Life
it.
is improved.
Sheesh.
Okay. Let's go down to Don Falcone. Out there, south of San Francisco, music producer and leader of a band called Spirits Burning. Don, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good.
All right.
In between the recent release of the Spirits Burning and Michael Morcott album and working on a new instrumental album.
Cool. Yeah, right. All right. I mean, you're nonstop when you're putting that music together. You've been, since I've known you, you're just putting out stuff all the time, right?
Yeah, it's been 2 decades, 250 musicians, over 15 albums.
Wow.
And I usually work on 2 or 3 at a time.
Do you? How do you keep it all straight? Jeez.
Is that Michael Moorcock, the fantasy and science fiction writer?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We there's a trilogy he had called Dancers at the Edge of Time, and we have done 2 of the books, and we're on the Al Bouchard from the Oyster Cult and I are about to start the 3rd one. So
that's cool.
Al's a real big fan of
BOC.
Michael, and
I don't know those, but years ago I read maybe a dozen of his books. Really good stuff.
Yeah, he's a really good kind of space opera guy. Let me introduce the last member of the Brady Bunch here. Rich Kennedy. Richie, how you doing, Rich?
Good.
Yeah. This isn't what you expected either, is it?
Yeah, Rich.
No. I'm the center square.
Okay. The reason that we're all together here is that we're all kind of tangentially actually.
I wish my wife was on the show here. She'd. He says, "Give that guy a sword." He says, "Right off the Vikings." He's right off the Vikings.
Who are you
set.
talking
He took some time off from the new Viking season to be with us on the show.
Who are you talking to, Chris?
Yeah.
Oh, Richie.
No,
I'm
Rich.
sorry.
Rich.
So the reason that we're all here is that we were all connected to this project called Sky Club. We did a musical album, seems like a long time ago, called Sky Club. Bunch of cover songs.
Yeah.
We had a couple, original songs, but it was only because I got to know Rob Ailing of Voiceprint Records, the late Voiceprint Records, and that's a whole boy. You could do 2 hours on that guy. He was a good guy, and he would give people a break. His record company basically would try to find old live concerts of the Beach Boys and stuff like that, put them out. He'd put out a lot of kind of stuff that, vintage stuff. And we put this album together, and just to tell a quick anecdote, and he said, I'll meet you in New York City. So he's a British guy. So I said, well, I had the mixed tapes, thanks to Chris. I remember we were like mixing it like crazy before I went down there. And I thought I have to present the music in a way to him the best way possible. So I went to the Bose, what do you call those? The outlet stores, and I got a Bose radio for $500 at an outlet store. If you can imagine this, it weighs about 90 pounds. Sorry, I go down to New York City with it, and I figure, hey, listen, he's going to hear our music on a Bose, right? This is going to blow him away. I put the music in. I turned it on. We're in a hotel conference room. He listens to about 15 seconds. He says, "Okay, I'll buy it," and that was it. It was like the shortest. And I'm lugging this, cement brick with me for the next 3 days. But that's a testament, I'll tell you, and I got to be truthful, a testament to Mark Poulin and Richie and Chris, because when you listen to that old album, I hate to say it old, it's just called Sky Club, Mack Maloney Sky Club. It's a story about a spaceman who gets lost on an isolated planet. No one's there, and he wishes he was back with his girlfriend. And it's the 12 songs he listens to while he's alone on this isolated planet. Is that it, Chris? I don't know. It's been so long ago, I can't remember. Can you?
No, that is it. I just love, how like a lot of people just put out songs, and they stream. Nowadays you just have 1 or 2 on Spotify or whatnot. What you do different than anyone else, if I can say this, is you just kind of encapsulate everything in like a story, like a guy on a planet. Isn't he stranded there?
Yes, he is.
It's just fascinating, and it ties everything together. Even if it isn't tied together, you think it is.
There you go.
It's on the planet.
That's the secret.
That song,
Right, exactly.
The whole concept of concept albums has sort of disappeared. I remember
we did the last concept.
out there like crazy. And everybody's trying to put out. There were good concept albums and there were crappy ones.
Yeah.
But
right.
You know the good ones when you hear it. When you hear the first 15 seconds, that's it. I love that one. And you stay with it for the whole record.
Yeah.
When you flip it off from side 1 to side 2, you go, I can't wait to get to side 2.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
that was the fun of it. Since I'm a vinyl guy, that's part of the fun.
Go ahead, Richie.
I can't wait to side 2.
What are you going to say?
It's Styx's fault. They killed the concept.
Did they really? Yeah.
You remember that? What was it? Kilmo was here or something?
Mr. Roboto, that one? The one with Mr. Roboto. Wow. Yeah. There's I'll talk about musicians. There's the guy who was the guitar player for them. He was on Daryl's House, it turns out. Okay. What's that guy's name? Yeah, right.
Tommy Shaw.
Tommy Shaw.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's funny, you don't see these guys, and anyone who's into music, I recommend Daryl's House. I can't recommend it more highly because they bring in musicians you've never heard of them or you've never seen them in that setting, and they do their songs translated through Daryl's band, which is one of the best bands ever. Now they're on Daryl's band. Let me throw it to Chris because you've told me this, Chris. When you watch that show, okay, and they come in and they do, like I say, different arrangements of people's songs, okay, that's not mixed. You don't think those are mixed? Recorded and mixed?
Oh, no, I think that's all done live.
Really? Man, if that's done live.
Yeah, they're live.
Are they really? Yeah. They're a great band. That's a great band.
I think, when you have a setup like his, though, everything's already been fine-tuned. They've done, 100 songs already. So they got the drum sound, and, you'll bring certain things in. But, for the most part, it's, and the room is, super, and, it's...
Yeah, they sound fantastic.
Yeah. So Tommy Shaw comes on,
and
do
you think they rehearse like crazy on every song that they're going to do for the show?
Do they rehearse?
I don't think so.
I think it's more get up and go impromptu. They probably worked it out a few times, but
the way they talk about it.
Let's go. But 1, 2, 3, go.
So Tommy Shaw comes on. Now this is the guy who's in Styx, okay, and who knows about Styx, right? I'm not a big Styx fan, but he comes on. It turns out he's a great guitar player. He's way better guitar player than you'd ever think. But they played a couple Styx songs through Daryl's band, and they sound so much cooler. And he even says, "This is like the coolest way I've ever played Styx songs," And I remember him saying that they would go. They played at some outdoor arena back in the 80s, whatever. 80,000 people there. It's 150 degrees. He says, "I got to go out and I got to sing my part of Mr. Roboto." No one. It was the wrong time, the wrong stage, the wrong, venue. And like he said, they killed the concept album with Mr. Roboto, Styx.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about Rush, not Styx, right?
No, we're talking about Styx.
Styx? Mr. Roboto?
Yes. Get your old band straight there,
all right.
JJ.
Pardon me.
Rush is 2112.
Yeah, 21.
Oh, yeah, that breathed new life into prog, I think. I don't think that killed anything.
Yeah.
But Styx.
Styx. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to want to... Go ahead, please, Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
I saw that Tommy Shaw on Daryl's house, and it was interesting to watch because when he was warming up his voice, Daryl got shocked and said, "You can hit that note? I can't sing that." So Daryl was impressed with his voice. And then when I can tell Tommy's a bit of a stickler about playing things right, so he was a little nervous to do his song.
He was nervous. You could tell he was nervous. Yeah, it was kind of funny to see him kind of jittery.
Yeah, they did a version of a Styx song called Renegade.
Excellent.
And they killed it.
Yes.
And Tommy was, at the end of that, he was like, "Yeah, I know what you're saying now, Daryl. Just trust these guys." So there was a moment when that happened.
And then they play Too Much Time in My Hands. It's excellent. They did, I don't know what they do to it, but he comes out and he says, "That's the best time I've ever had playing a Styx song," is what,
Oh, wow.
is what he said.
Yep.
So, all right, so listen, I have a bunch of questions for our guests here, and randomly I'm going to go to Richie, okay? You ready, Rich?
Ready, Rich?
Yeah.
While we were doing the, we've already brought up the music video where we embarrassed ourselves, so we won't bring that up. Do you remember when we took the cover picture of the album cover, which we never used, and we went over the guy's house and got made up?
Yeah.
So
that was.
Yeah. Do you have any memories of that?
I just remember I hated that picture.
This guy, I mean, I have to. Juan, you've met him. He's the guy who took the pictures at the Starboard Galley fiasco.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
he
we
did
go
a
there.
photo shoot for an album cover.
Right. And he has bought an old Corvette. He has bought an old Corvette, and it's in his yard.
Yeah.
And he says, we're going to take the picture inside the Corvette. And we're going, where'd you get it? He says, I bought it.
Great.
And we're going, okay.
Oh, okay.
Remember that?
This.
And we jam in the Corvette. It doesn't work. Nothing's working. Yeah, nothing. And Mark, you remember this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we had to jam ourselves in that Corvette.
We had to kind of imagine we were on a ship.
On a spaceship. Right? He wanted it to be a spaceship. Right.
Like, imagine you're in it and just kind of make the kind of motions that you would do.
We jammed in this, and it's crazy. So anyway, so then we go back to his house, and he's kind of a nutty photographer, okay? And he disappears, and who knows? And he says, "Okay, I'm going to get a makeup person, and she's going to come and give you and do your makeup." All right. So we're sitting on the backyard. All I remember is she took 2 hours on me, 10 minutes on both of you guys. So, and he's going in and out. We go down his cellar, and he has constructed a spaceship. He has literally built a spaceship out of spare parts. We get in it. He takes a bunch of pictures, and that was it. It was a bizarre day without any kind of hallucinogenics or anything. It was very strange. And then we're driving home. Rich and I are driving home.
I think we drank like a kid.
Yeah, we ran out of gas. We had to get gas, so we had to go to the gas station. We still have our makeup on. Remember that?
No. Wow.
This is funny.
Oh, God.
Wow. Huh. So anyway, okay. All right, let me go to the next card. Hey, Richie, plug your bars. Explain to people what kava is real quick.
Kava is a secret ceremonial beverage from the South Pacific Islands. It's basically a natural tea that chills you out, makes you feel really good, muscle relaxer, antidepressant, anti-anxiety.
That kid's
three bars in South Florida.
Richie owns 3 bars down in Fort Lauderdale, man. We've had some times down there, dude. When you used to have the stand-up comedians, that was almost... That was almost
with the comedians.
Almost too
God.
Much fun. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
Wow, huh? Okay. So anyway, that's another show. Hey, Don. Okay, I got your card, Don Falcone. Now let's talk a little bit about the way that you and I met. We met through Rob Ailing too, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And somewhere along the line, either he or you got in touch with him and you said, because you were talking earlier how you take, you've taken books, you've taken Michael Morcott books, who's a famous science fiction writer, and you've translated them into music, and you got in touch with me and you wanted to do one of my books and translate it into music, right?
Yeah, 2 things happened. First, Rob knows that I'm always looking for new musicians to work with and bring into Spirits Burning. So he had mentioned that you had a lot of contacts because you were doing promotion with different people. And that's actually how we got Matt on board. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing was every album's a concept, but it's not necessarily, a concept could be it's instrumental or it has lots of violins or it's, the day through of a life emulated through song. And so anyways, I can't remember, I think you probably sent me some books, and I started reading them, and I really liked the Starhawk ones. I probably told you this before. Starhawk's a really interesting word for me because I knew about the Goddess Rituals Starhawk books. Wow. I knew about the character that Sylvester Stallone played in Guardians of the Galaxy is actually Starhawk, but they didn't call him that. They do it in the comic books. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, it's I like Hawkwind. So, and Falcon is
famous band.
Hawk. So anyways, I read the book and I really liked it and I thought it'd be kind of cool to do. Mm-hmm. And
go ahead. So I'm just curious, when you do the Morcott stuff, is it mostly instrumental, like you see in a film, or is it mixed with lyrics?
It's mostly lyrics, and I think to be honest, I think on a certain level, the Starhawk album it's more accessible because I tried hard not to have songs with people's names in them.
Interesting.
But for the Morcott stuff, and part of this is I ended up giving Al Bouchard a lot of reign to write the lyrics or transcribe lyrics from the book. And so we decided to actually go with people's names. Like there's an alien called Usharis. And so you end up with some tough words. If you know the book, it makes sense. If you go with the story, hopefully we've done well. But it's definitely a hard thing to do.
I remember that when you started
those
recording
are available on accessible Amazon.
Yeah,
Amazon.
Yeah. So first of all, the album with Max and Mark is on it, and Matt. So it's four of us here are on it, or involved with it. I just think I recently posted that on Bandcamp digital download.
Oh, excellent.
And then the two Morcott albums, An Alien Heat, I have posted that on Bandcamp. Its voice print became Gonzo Multimedia, and I don't even know if they're still selling it. And then the new one, The Hollow Lands, it's on Cleopatra Records.
Oh. Yes, Cleopatra.
Out of Southern California.
Yeah, our friends at Cleopatra. Yeah, that's the interesting thing was when you told me that you guys were going to do this, guys and girls, and it was great. I remember you said, well, listen, if you guys want to record a track and add a track to it, you can do it. And we talked about it. I remember Mark and I talking about it, but we didn't want to, impose on your sound, and I'm glad we didn't, because it's very different. It's very odd for me to have someone take the words from the book and turn them into a song. I never thought that would happen to me, but you did a great job. And my wife's a big fan of that CD, by the way.
Yeah, I may someday get back to you in the second book in that series, because I really like Planet America a lot.
Starhawk,
a lot of times the second book in a trilogy or a series is, weaker or just different in a bad way. And Planet America is actually kind of humorous and funny and really enjoyable.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I've done this series for years called Wingman, and then this little kind of off ramp for 5 books. I put the publisher asked me to put Wingman 5,000 years in the future, but still fly his F-16. So that became Starhawk, Wingman in Space.
It's a fun book, though.
Is it? Thank you, Switchy. I appreciate that. So let's go to Mark Poulin, No Belly Button Man.
Yeah, that's right.
You ready? Okay.
Still,
throwing back. You've been on our show before. You've displayed to people in the studio your no belly button. You woke up one day and you had no belly button. Is that the short version?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Someone stole it, and I don't know where it is.
All right.
You didn't drop it anywhere.
So there's a nice reward if someone finds it.
Yeah. We had a caller once.
Suck it up.
You'll probably have to go to the Naval Academy.
That's what I was going to say. Someone called up and said...
somebody was going to say it, so I got it out.
Do you feel bad when you eat a navel orange? That was the question.
Oh, oh boy. I should have researched that and Google, and I got 20 more.
Mark Poulin. The question is asked, do you remember when we went to New York to play the play the album for the first record company, and we walked into the sitcom? Remember they were filming the sitcom, and we walked into it.
Walked on the set?
Yes. By mistake.
Like the Three Stooges and Movie Maniacs or something. The Swaney's set?
Yeah, what's the name of the show? Valentine's Day or something. We were going to a hotel conference room in this hotel, and we just walked in. No one stopped us.
That's right.
And they're filming a sitcom, and they go, "Could you gentlemen please turn around and go?" I think it's called Valentine's.
For crying out loud! Who are these guys?
It was like that. Yeah, I think it was Alan Alda's son was in it. He was a mafia don with a hat or something. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Okay, Mark. So let's go to Chris. So, Chris, tell us how to be stars, okay? Tell us how we can win America's Got Talent.
How you can win?
Uh-oh. That's not good. Yes.
So, do you know any of the judges to start with? Might be part of it.
Start with the judges. Interesting concept.
Yeah, I think you got to do something different. I watch these shows have been on for so long now, and it's routine. You got like the R&B singers, and the guys who dally a little with rap. I think you need to do something like really different. Like I don't know, maybe emulate some certain cattle sounds or something like that.
Cattle sound?
Moo.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just kind of winging this. Something totally unheard of.
That is unheard of. Okay.
Right, Matt? You feeling that at all? Or?
Yeah, if it's different, it'll stick out. It'll stand.
That's it.
That's what she said. Oh no.
Well, you got to break the mold.
Okay, sorry. Got to break the mold. All right. Do you ever have to deliver the news to someone that, would you ever tell someone who's like doing a test tape or a test recording in your studio, do you ever say to them, go and, play baseball?
Yeah, what'd you do with the money?
What'd you do with the money? Yeah,
what money? The money your mother gave you for lessons.
There you go. Someone asked that to Ringo once. Someone gave you for singing lessons.
Seriously, no. I mean, you always look for something good and just try and have the person build on that. And we've had a couple of good success stories that way.
Yeah.
People who are just totally terrible, but, a lot of times you can kind of find out what it is and, seriously train them up. And
Totally Terrible is the name of the band.
You're coming around?
One of them turned out to be who? Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
There you go. She was there. Yeah.
She came in and she went,
actually.
I got a couple of songs. So, no.
I know. I'm gonna ambush.
Write about my life.
I'm gonna ambush Chris again.
You write about my boyfriends.
Okay. Chris,
right.
True or false, Chris, that you were once requested by Giselle Bündchen, Mrs. Tom Brady, to be alone together with her in a studio, right? She wanted no one else around. Yes or no?
Well, I did work with Giselle, and I had to have a chaperone with me all the time because, if Tom ever found out, it would have, could have been a pretty nasty fight.
You would have moved.
I didn't want to hurt him, so.
Okay. All right. But that's true, correct?
Oh, yeah.
All right. She was doing some PSA or something down at Bristol, correct?
Yeah, she was doing, actually, it was as I remember, she was doing a cartoon for Keep the Earth Green type of thing in Spanish or
I love her.
I don't think it was Spanish. I forget Brazilian. Something
Brazilian,
like that.
Yeah, she's Brazilian.
And so she was doing the voiceover.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. So I gotta ask Mark again. Mark, do you remember we were at my house and I said, let's order a bouquet of flowers for Chris and put Giselle's name on them and say, Chris, we have to talk. We have to talk. And I was going to call 1-800-FLOWERS, and I got 1-800 down, and I said, maybe we shouldn't do this, and we didn't do it. Chris, would that have gone over in the Bristol studio?
I think she would have loved it.
Really? Yeah.
She's actually a real sweetheart. Very nice.
No, they were going to send the flowers to you and put Giselle's name on it.
There we go.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, coming from Giselle.
Yes.
Wow.
I could see the hearts flowing out of your brain right now.
Is that what they were? Yeah. Okay. All right.
That would have been funny.
All right. So because you, Tom, went to Tampa Bay, thank you, Chris.
Yeah. You had to get her away from me.
Okay. Matt Malley.
Would that
to get her away from you?
Would that flower arrangement be? Would it be? Because Giselle will probably
roses, of course.
Gisellegram.
That's all I sent.
With note card saying we have to talk.
Yeah.
I love it.
You never know.
That is a great gift. You shouldn't have bailed out.
You miss every shot you don't take. Michael Jordan. All right, listen. Let's get back to Matt Malley, the rock star. Matt, we were going to ask you the Coke and Hookers question where we figured that was inappropriate. But you were on the road for 14 years, right? We always talk about
14 years toured with the band.
And the first 2 were good, and the rest was a job.
Just okay.
Yeah, it becomes monotonous, and you feel like your life's somewhere in your hometown waiting for you in a box to get back to and open up, and that feeling never leaves for the remainder of my touring years. I felt like I'm checking into the next hotel, and and God, only in like 2003 was when we got laptops and got Wi-Fi, I think it was. So this was all through the 90s when you're just combing through television channels to pass the time in your hotel. Yeah. It wasn't easy, you know. But I was a fan of Adam, you know, and I was a fan of his songwriting.
The lead singer,
our singer. And that first record and even the second one, if those were the only records we ever made, I'd be really proud of our catalog. And we still had some good stuff in all the records after that, but I'm really proud of those first couple of records.
You know, I saw
Adam did a solo gig for a while too, didn't he?
Yeah, he was.
No, Adam didn't do solo.
He did some. I thought he did a couple of solo songs, or a solo song or something.
I saw your performance in the Letterman show. I guess it must have been the early 90s because he does say, "Here's a new band." Yeah. Remember that, the David Letterman performance? Or does it all kind of melt into
the first one we did with Letterman was raving about us and saying, if you don't have this record, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Now, I was interested.
It's on YouTube, right? I bet.
Yeah, it is on YouTube. When you come out, when the band comes out, now you have a kind of look, okay? You had a look. You had those kind of glasses. Were they designer glasses, kind of in a way, and you had that kind of Beatle look, the kind of hermit.
You know what we were. I'm really proud of Counting Crows in that. What we started as was a Berkeley Hills. If you're from anywhere in the Bay Area, Don, the Berkeley Hills is very hippy dippy, and we were a Berkeley Hills folk rock band with a really strong singer songwriter. I was really proud of that band at the beginning, you know. But we changed over the years. Adam started replacing people with other people, and he moved to Hollywood. He's like the only guy in the world that thinks it's cool to live in Hollywood, I think, and started dating actresses. And I mean, God bless them. Do it.
Not cool at all.
Tough life dating actresses.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the band wasn't. The band became something else than what we started as, and it was a subtle change because, I mean, on the outside, I'm sure that you still had Adam's great songs and his nice voice and stuff on even the latter records. But we were something really special at the beginning for those first two albums. August and Everything After, and then Recovering the Satellites. I think those are really magical records, you know, and they were hit records.
Right.
Yeah.
You were on the charts all the time.
Yeah, we were in the charts.
You weren't Seattle. You know, it wasn't that constant Seattle sound going on.
Yeah, right.
Yes, exactly. We're kind of known for changing that grunge thing into the folky thing. So along Hootie and the Blowfish came, and then Dave Matthews was around the same time. So the grunge morphed with us as well. You know.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with the grunge thing, but you had to kind of change it up a little bit.
Well, yeah. How much is enough, you know? Hey, Don, so listen, you know, we're talking about how there was grunge music and then the folk rock came in and everything kind of replaces the next thing. Can you tell what's going to happen in 10 years, Don? That's a no. Hey, Chris, how about you? What's going to be a hit in 10 years?
A hit in 10 years.
Well, there we go. Okay, we should have the psychic on. We should have Ella the psychic on.
Well, heck, breakdancing will be back by then.
Breakdancing?
I'm telling you, the cows. You know, that's it.
The cows? The cows.
Rabbit sounds.
Rabbit
sounds. Okay.
Animal sounds. You know, Animal House, George, you know, that whole future.
First CD is called Utter Disgrace. Okay, I like it. It's done. It's coming together. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I have a 20-year-old son.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Matt?
Go ahead, Matt. Yeah.
I have a 20-year-old son who's a musician, and he's getting me into these solo cats that are making pop music, mostly on keyboards, like Tame Impala and Ariel Pink, and some of it is really brilliant. And I'm wondering if that's kind of a peek into the future. You know, I mean, they're not selling millions of records, though.
Right. Yeah. You know. I mean, are those days gone? That's another thing. That's a big question. Aren't those days gone? Because the whole idea of buying music is kind of gone. The only way the musicians can make money is to perform live, right?
Yeah, I think so. And if you become viral on YouTube, you're a star. You know, everybody's famous now. You know, you can become famous.
Wow.
You know, I think too that you hit it on the head. It's more like music. It used to be back in the day, you'd have bands. You know, you had your bass player, your drummer, and singer, and 5 or 6 different people. But nowadays, it's just like we were talking. Don was saying too. Everybody's producing everything in their bedroom.
Yeah.
And the technology's there. It's awesome. It sounds great. It really does.
Yeah.
And now I think the initial wave of all like the EDM. Boom bap kind of thing is kind of run its course, but people are getting more creative with it now and kind of incorporating some live stuff. And I'd like to think that might be the way going. But it'd be nice I wanted to ask Dawn too, like when you do your things, it sounds like you work a lot with several live musicians, or is it pretty much in the box at home? I think your mic's up.
You're right.
Yeah.
That would explain why Matt didn't answer my question about when was he in Berkeley.
Oh,
maybe we'll come back to that. No, that's okay. 2 answers for you. One is I primarily work with people remote. However, when people were touring, like I used to record David Allen from Gong here, Nick Turner from Hawkwind. I've been lucky when people are passing in, and there used to be people local. I did get to play live in England about, I guess it was in 2017. It was kind of 3 people from the Hawkwind family, and we put a band together that was really in England. And then I flew there, and we played at a festival. And I miss that experience that I had, in the 80s and 90s. It was great. There's nothing like singing in front of people and your voice slap echoing in front of them.
Yeah.
But the reality is I have a day job, and I've inherited a lot of equipment because I used to work for DigiDesign and companies like that over the years. So I was involved with the Pro Tools manuals. But you can only do what you can do. And that was why earlier I was saying that you hope that when you're playing with people remotely that you're building a band and they kind of buy into that. Because I've heard albums with, I use the term karaoke, but I've heard albums where one musician does everything and then they bring in one guest star, and it kind of sounds, for lack of a better word, plasticky.
Yeah.
And I agree that you want to get that feel of it's live, and there's
Isn't that what Paul McCartney just did with that album 3? Is that he played everything and then just overlaid?
He might be an exception where he's capable of sounding like he's multiple people. So I mean, it's a challenge though, but I think he's quite capable.
Yeah, he can figure it out.
Yeah, but can we?
You're right about the plastic thing. You don't want it to sound like "We Are the World."
Let me just ask this question.
Everybody's literally mailing it in.
Now that we have all these musicians here, let me just ask you and ask the 2 producers. I mean, there's no, in my opinion, there's no rational explanation why Paul McCartney, who has wrote some of the greatest songs ever when he was in the Beatles, his solo career, songwriting wise, evaporated.
It's crap.
I mean, let's face it.
It's shocking.
Some of us know that.
So you're not a fan of Wings at all?
I liked Wings, the early Wings, Band on the Run, Wings Over America.
Band on the Run is his
era.
Best album, but he recorded Mary Had a Little Lamb. I mean, come on.
That's yeah. I got to see him live a couple of years ago, and I might be the only person here, I suspect, who wasn't really a Beatles fan. And
no, Chris doesn't like the Beatles.
Yeah, it happens.
Raven, you're not a Beatles fan?
Chris is.
No, I was saying thumbs down to Don. No offense.
Oh, wow.
No, it happens.
No bad blood.
Meow.
Yeah, no, it happens. It happens. You like what you like, and you find things you like. And I respect them. I know they've done a lot of great stuff.
Exactly.
It just didn't really connect to me.
Really?
I was more of a Deep Purple, Black Sabbath guy.
It doesn't jive with you, and that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I can listen to Joni Mitchell, then listen to Black Sabbath. I mean,
but I was also still a Span fan. So I mean, But anyways, getting back.
You were muddled. Go ahead.
Mac was asking. Actually, I'm not sure if I remember the question.
I'll give you a question. What's the best Black Sabbath album?
Either Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, because I thought by that point they had matured and knew what they were doing.
Okay.
But then my favorite song is on, I guess, what is that
Their
called?
first album.
No.
No?
Well, there's a lot of good stuff. But Volume 4, there's a song called Wheels of Confusion that goes into another piece.
Wow.
Called,
It just kind of goes on forever.
It's a deep dive.
Well, it goes into an instrumental that it's probably my favorite Black Sabbath moment.
Can I interrupt?
Tony Iommi is God, right?
Yeah,
he's quite capable, writing a lot of good stuff.
There you go. Quite capable. Listen, I just want to interrupt here, Matt, before I know you want to say something, but everyone knows that Raven loves cats. And look at Mark. What's sitting on Mark's?
I know. It took me everything to not freak out. Look at. Is it a boy or a girl? Lucky?
Lucky girl.
She has little socks
She's a lucky girl.
on.
Gonna have to cut
all
this
their weight
out.
like they're little socks. It's just the best thing ever. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Now it's a cat show.
Inappropriate. Okay.
Let's talk about kitties. Yeah.
Deep dive into Black Sabbath. Okay. Yeah, interest, Don. I think it's interesting that you were a bigger Black Sabbath fan than Beatle fan. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah. No, I was a hard rock person first. Led Zeppelin. I mean, then I got into the weird side stuff like Stray Dog and Trapeze.
Wow. That is weird. Okay. We should say that Hawkwind...
Did you get into Fairport Convention?
Yeah, but I was more Still I Span.
That's
Still I Span. Yeah, I've got
look at Matt's T-shirt.
Matt's shirt.
Yeah, he's a big.
Eli and Fairport. My favorite genre of music is the folk rock revivalism of the 60s and 70s of England and Ireland.
Yeah.
So real quick,
kind of Renaissance tinged.
Yeah.
Music.
So the album that I'm just completing is an instrumental album, and both violinists from Still I Span are on it.
Really?
Oh, so Peter Knight and then Jesse May Smart, who's been with the band for 5 years plus.
Peter has a little band called Gig Spanner at the moment. Is he still doing this Gig Spanner thing? Yeah, cool.
I don't know if it's that band or another band, but yeah, there's been some stuff.
That's cool, Don.
Yeah, I decided to do an all acoustic Spirits Burning album. It's been interesting because I don't really play an acoustic instrument, so I'm cheating with piano and things like that, electric piano. Cool. But people from Vandergraaf are on it, like David Jackson, and we lost Mack. Matt, so when did you live in Berkeley? When did you live in Berkeley?
I actually was born and raised there. So I lived there I was born in 1963 and I left in 1999 when I moved to LA.
Do you remember a band called Mrs. Green?
Yeah.
I'm really good friends with the guy who was the drummer, and we used to work at a pizza place at San Francisco State University.
Wow. Yeah, cool. What's his name?
Sam Herzberg.
Don't know him.
Yeah. The main person in that band was it Dan Curtis or Dave Curtis?
Sounds familiar, those names, but I remember the band.
Because they were on that label that was out of, it was either Berkeley or the one Translator was on.
Uh-huh. Yep.
But it was that folk rock sound mixing with kind of, I wouldn't call it new wave, but close.
Yeah. This is great. Very cool.
Okay, let me throw this out there. Who's into the Velvet Underground?
Oh, come on. Really? Raven?
Who likes Lou Reed's Metal Machine music?
Nah, come on.
I had that record and I lost it. I don't know what. I didn't throw it away, but it was insane.
Lou probably broke in your house and stole it.
It was insane. Wasn't it a 2-record set too?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Can I just ask you though about and no one knows about the Velvet
Metal
Underground.
Machine music? That was unbelievable. It just went on and on. Like, okay.
Yes,
If you changed it up a little bit, I'd like Lou Reed.
Well, okay. Can I just be the guy at the party? And I know that Chris above everyone is going to dump on me for this. But isn't Velvet Underground like anti-music though, in a way? If you know what I mean. Isn't it anti-popular music? If you know what I mean. Chris,
it was avant-garde. Hey, they recorded on records for crying out loud.
Same thing.
They were written that way, but I don't know if you'd have to ask them if that's really what they wanted and intended.
Well,
but
Andy Warhol wanted.
Media,
Andy Warhol kind of orchestrated that Banana album,
yes,
Satellite of Love,
and it was really violin-based stuff too. Who was the guy that played violin?
I think John Cale.
Yeah, John Cale. Yeah, right. Yeah.
John Cale. Yeah.
Wow. Well, hey, listen, can I just say real quick a story I heard about Andy Warhol? Now, Andy Warhol, if anyone doesn't know who he was just this avant-garde artist in New York City, and he was big business. Let's face it. I know he lived in, this crummy part of town in a loft, but he had a lot of stuff going on, let's say. So anyway, a lot of odd people in his entourage.
He was everywhere for a while.
Right. So one of his fans came up one day and shot him like 9 times, okay? And they bring him down to the sidewalk. The EMTs come, and they declare him dead on the sidewalk. A guy is walking along the street, and I'm sure this was in the West Village somewhere, and he said, "What's going on?" And he says, "This man's been shot." And the guy looks at him and says, "Bring him immediately to, such and such hospital," okay? This guy turned out to be the best bullet wound surgeon in the world. He was from Italy, just visiting New York City, and he saved Andy Warhol's life. Andy Warhol was back to work like 4 days later. He got shot 9 times. He had an incredible life. I've heard of him, and Velvet Underground is boring, frankly, and he just fooled people
I disagree.
It fooled people into taking pictures or painting tomato cans and having rich people buy them. Okay, I'm sorry. Am I?
Hey, he was at MFA. Did a show there back in the day. Museum of Fine Arts.
Yes.
Randy Warhol show with the tomato cans.
What were you doing there?
The
bananas.
I took my wife.
Really? Yeah.
She's a big fan. I think my daughter Allison went.
That's a cheap date.
She was an art and film school person there for a while.
Listen, so what we're going to do,
Andy, we can beat up Andy all day long, but I'm kind of a big Velvet Underground.
I'm not saying I think someone like that is good. Someone like that is good because they represent the extreme. Okay, but I think he along with this guy, who's that artist there, who is the street artist who is like a zillionaire, Zindi, or Mindy, whatever his name is. He has that kind of yeah, right, yeah, him, and it's like, well, if we can just be cool, we can get rich people to buy it. I mean, that's the dream of everybody, Yeah. But, you just got to fool them sometimes,
I think you have to have the personality, though, that, goes along with it. Because I've never been able to trick a rich person into buying any of my shit. So I'm doing something wrong.
Okay, Raven.
You need a better PR person.
Yeah, there you go.
I do. I need to be more like Andy Warhol.
That's what Mac does.
No, don't say that. That's a
big PR guy.
Okay, here we go. Why don't we just go around the... around the table, as I say, and I have one question for almost everyone here, okay? Let's start with Don, all right? Because we all like music, but, I think the dream of a lot of people is to have a hit record. Now, Matt's had a hit record. But, I think, people, musicians and non-musicians alike would love to be, like a rock star or a star. And the only way you're going to do that is to have a hit record. So, Don, what makes a hit record? What's a thumbnail for you?
I really don't think I want to make a hit record. I want to make a mark.
Okay.
So that if somebody enjoys it, it inspires them, makes them feel better. That's a level of success.
Provides a lasting impression.
Yeah. That said, you want to, I'm still at a place where I like getting a contract from a label, even though I'm not making much money.
Yes.
That I know the next thing I do has a place. And I do have a concern someday that may dry up. But most of the stuff that I really like and listen to, in a way isn't hit oriented. Now, if you dig deeper, sure, Deep Purple had a hit, and lots of these artists had hits. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Well, it pays the bills, So let me go to Chris. Chris, of all people to ask, what's the formula for a hit record, or what's the code?
Well, a lot of people try and copy everybody else. So I think, one of the first things that you really need, you need to feel it. You need to believe in something. And you want to have a message to say. And then if it's sincere, I think it really almost starts to write itself. If you're trying to listen to other people's stuff and copy it, which is so much what the trends are now, I mean, you just end up sounding like a cookie cutter that, everybody else hears. So you do have to kind of stand out. But have something to say, because some of the simplest songs, just guitar and, kind of Taylor Swift. I don't get it, but my daughter loves her.
Wow, huh?
And
I used to love her when she was country.
Wow.
I'm not saying I don't, but I don't listen to her that much.
Sure.
I think that's part of her secret to success. She's not an awesome singer. She doesn't have an incredible range or tone. She's just nothing stands out that sounds bad.
Okay.
And it's the sincerity, I think, of it.
Yes. Now that
can apply to many different genres too.
Right. That said, and without naming names, we know that you and I were involved in a project with someone who was not a really good singer. Was the light come on?
Okay.
There? Yeah. Okay. Right. And it got to the point where sometimes several words in a line had to be recorded over and over, and you just paste them together, right? So it can be done.
Yeah, I mean, you can, with the technology, I'm sure Don I don't know, but, I've spent hours just, piecing together a vocal, and it sounds pretty darn good when it's done, but it does, we call it Frankensteined.
Yes.
It doesn't have the flow that it would have. And usually in best case scenario, you do that so somebody can hear it, and then they come back, work on it, and re-perform it, and then you get a good performance out of it.
Wow, interesting. Okay. I know Connie...
Is it like having an ADR guy on set to do it, like it having a movie or something?
What?
ADR.
ADR.
ADR person or machine.
Well, it could be similar. Like, here, do it this way. They need, a lot of people need a guide. These are people who haven't got the years of experience. So they just need to hear it, and a lot of times they can recreate it and then bring it to life.
That's what amazes me about the Beatles when they hit the scene in like '63, or you took a few sniffs of the Beatles and you went, wow, and you got blown away by, but you had to understand what the context or the nature of what was being played at the time.
Before them,
what you were listening to at the time.
Hootenanny was big in the United States the summer before the Beatles hit. Hootenanny. Okay, they saved us from Hootenanny, believe me. The thing about the Beatles to me is, first of all, their production it just sounded different because George Martin was like a classical producer, and he believed in this kind of clear crystal sound, and everything moved to me, even like the slow songs. Matt Malley, I think, will know what I mean. Even the slow, and it's all Ringo because we're Ringo fans, but everything moved. Especially like when you listen to I Saw Her Standing There, which is just such this teen song, but man, the playing in that song is incredible.
They had the dream team from the beginning with George Martin there to record them. I don't know who engineered those early records before Jeff Emmerich got involved, but their music leapt off the records at you. Like you said, Saw Her Standing There jumped out of the record player. It was just so alive.
It was.
That's because it's too good. Yeah,
when I first had that original mix on VJ Records, blows my mind. But the best thing better than anything Capitol ever did. Somehow they on some of those mixes botched it up, and then when they converted to stereo, new release stuff at stereo is like vocals on the left, instruments on the right. Remember, it's awful, awful.
Yeah, the mono mixes are what it's all about.
That's right.
Up until was it the White Album was the first stereo Beatles record, but the Beatles oversaw.
Sgt. Pepper, I think was
it the first stereo one?
Yep.
But the Beatles were all there overseeing the mono mixes, and the stereo mixes were an afterthought, and those are the ones we all grew up with in America. Right. The Beatles didn't really care about. It's amazing.
I'm just, now that we're talking about the Beatles, I want to ask Mark. Mark, once you told me, we saw, remember in the 90s, this is before Raven was even around, the Beatles actually came out with 2 new songs that, they took an old John Lennon recording and they added to it. Free as a Bird and True Love, right?
True Love. Real Love.
Real Love. Now, I remember we were sitting there. We watched that. We saw that for the first time, together. Right. We were over at Mike's house. When you said
anthology, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was in conjunction with the anthology in the 90s, which is still, I got to rewatch that again. That's an excellent documentary on the Beatles. It's 7 hours long. It's crazy, but it's really good.
Wasn't it?
But I remember you saying with Free as a Bird that the way they played chords was very odd. When you listen to it, it does not match what you would kind of expect in a song, and that was kind of a secret to the Beatles. They'd use weird chords or
weird chords,
unusual chords.
I remember when I first heard that, I went, "That's the secret of the Beatles. It almost sounds like something else, but it doesn't. Mm-hmm. It kind of brings I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
you can't buy the Beatles fake books and have it sound like the song. You got to know how to play the weird chords with the augmented and diminished and the
demolished.
You got to know what the circle of fifths are. I guess I don't know.
Can you give an example of a song and the chords? What any particular part of the song?
I don't know.
I'll tell you one.
George Harrison was a lot of diminished, right?
A lot of diminished chords, right?
It's like even Yesterday, kind of starts off. I think it's like Yesterday, and then right away it does like a 2-5-1 to the relative minor. He does, which is normally like a jazz thing, and then he kind of comes out and brings it back into like 1-6-4-5, which is like 60s doo-wop kind of thing. Well, I believe it yesterday. I don't know if I got that.
And how did they learn that? Such a young.
They know it.
They weren't in the thing that long.
Yeah. Saying you should try it this way. Everything goes from C to F.
Yeah. Did you know that Penny Lane actually changes keys? I think 7 times.
Yeah.
It goes from one key to another. And
7 modulations. Yeah.
Actually, in a different key.
Sorry.
Like an illusional key change, like.
Yeah,
it's doing that, but it's not.
Yeah, there's a way to hear Penny Lane if you were to enter the chorus in the same key as the verse, and it sounds right. Yeah, I think you can YouTube it, but Paul changes keys for the choruses, and he did that at 22 years old or 23.
Yeah, no, that's what's crazy.
It's amazing.
That's what's
and
crazy.
Then they threw that trumpet part in.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that brass, it's beautiful. George Barton.
Yeah, that's an interesting song.
Stuff too. Like on From Me to You, when they found that G minor, it was like, whoa, they kind of, let's try a few chords,
This is real music geek stuff, but it's kind of funny.
I really enjoyed the British Invasion, but the Beatles were like miles above everybody else for the most part.
Yeah.
And their creativity was just song after song hit. When you talk about what makes a hit, you know it when you hear it. I don't think you can just write it up and say, okay, it's got to check the boxes. What makes a hit? Here you go. You're going to have a hit. All right.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you
And they were
$1,000.
You're absolutely right.
Let's hear Raven.
It's different with the Beatles, I don't know, from my opinion, because it's almost like, I don't know, and maybe this is super corny, but like when you listen to them, you can feel what you're listening to, for me at least. And it's, I don't even know how to explain it any better than that.
They're different.
Maybe that's cheesy.
No, they're different.
I even like the covers that they do. The covers that they did, on most of them, I'll go out and say they were better than the original. When I hear them cover Carl Perkins, I like it better than Carl Perkins. Even though I like Carl Perkins, I like his style of playing.
Yeah,
that's George Martin getting them into performance mode. Like in the studio when they're doing that take. George Martin would kind of get them all on that page together, and then whoever was engineering that made it jump out of the record at you. So it's a win-win all around.
Honey Don't grabs you by the throat. It's like it's great, and the sound quality is amazing.
Yeah, they were just that's them doing their Hamburg act on recording the Hamburg act. Yeah, they play like 18 hours a day for 2.5 years. Believe me, you're going to be great too. That was their basic training.
Maybe,
when they were in Hamburg at 17, 16 years old doing speed and playing like
Really?
sets a day. That's when they became a great
Living in a closet, no bathroom or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's awful.
Let me
The strip club at the Reaper Bar.
Let me just tell can I tell a quick George Martin story? Now, George Martin is frequently called the fifth Beatle, and if anyone deserves it, it's him. He was their producer, and he was a guy at working basically Capitol in London, which is EMI, and he was a classical record producer, and he also used to produce comedy albums. Okay, so. He's one of these real buttoned-down... Raven, you might want to block your ears for this story, okay? He's a very buttoned-down guy, okay? And his boss came in one day and found George Martin having sex with his secretary.
Slamming somebody.
Right, on his desk, okay? So as punishment...
Is that wrong?
As punishment... Well, it is wrong. Who asked that? So as punishment... He said, you know what, I'm going to give you these guys from Liverpool, the Beatles. And that's how George Martin became the Beatles producer. It was a punishment. Like,
Wow. Sticking it to him, huh?
Yeah, well, hey, I didn't want to say that.
He turned down Frank Ifield, and he said, nah, I think these other Brits over here are better.
So you're saying he got screwed?
Well, with switching.
That's how it started.
A little late. So listen. Good. So anyway, so hey, listen. You never know. Right place, right time. I guess I don't know.
And they gave the Rolling Stones their first hit.
They gave the Rolling Stones their first hit.
Be your man.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
The first charting hit.
Well, listen.
Have you seen the
and Keith Richards always talks about he can't thank them enough for doing that for them.
Okay, we literally have 3 minutes left, but I'm just going to go around the table only because Juan and I are big Keith Richards fans. Don, just Keith Richards, real or not?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, all right.
But that's more Johnny Depp than Keith Richards, but I get it.
Wow. Okay.
His dad.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Matt.
He's still alive. He's alive.
Yeah.
Keith is going strong. I love the guy. Always did.
Matt Malley, he just turned 79 the other day. Matt Malley has met Keith Richards. Okay, Matt, is he real? Is he hype?
Yeah. Okay, he's well. I read the book by the other Stone. What's the one they fired?
Bill Wyman.
Started the Rolling
Mick Taylor.
Nick Taylor.
Yeah.
No, not Mick Taylor.
Oh no.
Dick Taylor.
Bill Wyman.
Dick Taylor.
Bill Wyman. Stone Alone.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's Brian Jones.
Brian Jones. Yeah.
He died.
He died. Yes.
Yeah, he died.
Of a broken heart.
He kind of taught them to be what they were, I believe, at least according to that book.
Right.
So I would say Keith Richards is a phony.
Phony? Wow.
Keith is a phony.
Oh.
He's the riff master. Come on.
He's a badass, no doubt. But he learned what he did from Brian Jones. That's what I think.
Brian, no one disputes that Brian. Wow, we're going to have to fly out there one and straighten them out.
Rolling Stones was Brian Jones's.
Vision, but Brian Jones was a dick. He was a dick, and they had to fire him. Let's call it a spade a spade. But he was a blues blues dogmatist.
He didn't die. I thought he died. I thought he died when he was in the band. He didn't.
No, he drowned. They fired him. No, they fired him.
He died shortly after he was sacked.
With them.
He drowned in a pool.
He drowned in his own pool. Yeah.
Right.
But it was not too soon after they had to fight it, and he started the band, and they, it wasn't something that came to them easily. They said, "Listen, this guy started the band, but he just wasn't functioning drug-wise. I mean, let's face it, that's what happened to him."
But he's a guy that wasn't showing up for rehearsals.
They're showing up on nothing, and they were going to go out on the road, and they couldn't rely on him being there. But I'll tell you one thing about that guy is he was one of these guys, and I hate them. Okay, and Mark Poulin is one of them, and I think Matt probably is too. And Chris, everyone is they can pick up any instrument and play it. That to me. That would be, if I had a genie in a bottle, that would be one of my wishes. He was able, he played guitar, but he also played organ, he played sitar, he played, tuned percussion, he played drums. He was one of those guys, and it's too bad. His personal life, if you read about his personal life, it's really a
very sad
story,
And then Keith steals his girlfriend and the whole deal, and they were doing Let It Bleed.
He stole his clothes.
Well, don't say steal isn't the word. He saved her.
He actually stole his clothes.
He slept with her a few times, and the next thing you know.
Yeah, but see the movie. Well, tell about top of it.
You know what's the stark reality of the Stones come from London, posh London.
Yeah,
kind of.
The Beatles come from working man's Liverpool. The Beatles, we all live in. Yeah. They were the badasses, and the Stones were pussies. That's what
Raven, are your fingers still in your ear? Wow, huh? Well, there is. Let's put
would your daughter go out with a Rolling Stone? That was the question.
They wouldn't have to worry.
Always asked on AM radio.
Couldn't have met, no problem.
60s in Boston was, will your daughter, or around the world, will your daughter go out with a Rolling Stone?
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, they did have.
It seems like with Mick Jagger, somebody's daughter is going out with him all the time because he's got a girlfriend.
22 years
than
old.
His kids.
Younger than his
function, maybe.
Younger than his grandkids. His girlfriend is younger than Mick's grandkids.
Unbelievable. Melanie Hamrick.
Get that straight. You have to know that. Yes.
Maybe that's why I've been watching movies about ballerinas and ballet companies lately.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah, really? Yeah. Do you want to?
I did a concert. I worked a concert with former members of the Bolshoi Ballet. They took they got together all these some men and mostly women, and the production manager said to the union shop steward that was the union head that was with us, and I was in a local IHSC local in New Hampshire.
Yes,
and they said we need somebody in the dressing room to help out with the ladies.
Yes.
And then I said, well, gee, like an idiot, I'm saying, well, gee, we don't have any women in our local on the call today.
Go ahead.
And she looks at me like, duh, doesn't matter. And then the guy who was sort of in charge of the group said to me, well, you want to do it? I said, okay. What was it involved? Just some light sewing or just kind of helping them out, help them to zip up their stuff. You're kidding me. Okay, I'll do it. I'm on the clock, so I'll do it. And I did it, and I was in their practice room and their warm-up room before the show, and they're practicing their moves and they're half-dressed. And I was basically filling up these trays that are filled with crushed up rubber balls, or those pink balls you used to play with. They crushed them up through some kind of grinder thing like powder.
What's happening here?
They would step into them with their ballerina slippers so they could have better grip. And I was doing that. But I was in that environment. After doing the lights and sound, and it wasn't really a huge setup. But after doing that, and I'm in their dressing room.
Yes.
It was like one of the, other than carrying Keith Richards guitars.
Yes.
And steel wheels from the truck. And they said, these are Keith's guitars. Both of these, take them to his guitar tech on stage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And they didn't wash my hands for a week.
Listen, if you kissed the guitar, would you tell us if you kissed it? If you kissed it, if you licked it?
I would have. I didn't have the stones. I didn't have the stones to do anything other than carry his guitars like I'm carrying my baby, like my infant child that's just born.
Okay.
Over to the guitar tech,
Okay. One is a big Keith fan. So listen, why don't we go around the room? But by the time we say goodbye to everyone, we'll be way over time. So let's start with Don. Don Falcone, what are you doing lately? What's new lately?
Working on finishing an acoustic Spirits Burning album with loads of violin players, David Cross, Peter Knight, and then starting work on the third Spirits Burning of Michael Morcott, that trilogy, The End of All Songs.
Cool, yeah. And I just want to thank you for doing the Starhawk, CD. I never thought something like that would happen, but it did. So thank you very much.
I didn't realize until recently that it gave me the confidence to do the Morcott stuff, to be honest.
Wow. Okay, good. Well, I hope you pass that on. So thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon, okay? We'll talk to you very soon, as it turns out, Don. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we could do a part 2 of the show.
Part 2, yeah. We should hang around. So, listen, why don't we go up to Chris Billias. Thank you, Chris, for taking time out of your busy schedule. Now you have to go home, right?
Yeah, I do. I have to drive, actually take the T. But yeah, I'm here in Bristol Studios in Boston, Mass.
Yeah, right. Go Boston.
Yeah, Bristol Studios in Boston, Mass.
So I can't say that anymore.
But they're good. I mean, they're they're just they've been good to us. Let's face it. So thank you, Chris. And do you want to talk about the M&Ms thing, or would you rather us not?
No, I'm trying to get that monkey off my back.
Really? Okay, that's the M&M monkey. Thank you, Chris.
I was addicted to M&Ms for a long time.
Were you really? Yeah, the candy?
Yeah, I was. After I quit smoking. I couldn't stop eating M&Ms after I quit smoking.
Or regular?
Plain or peanut?
Plain or peanut, Juan. Plain or peanut?
Plain.
Plain. What a pussy.
Yep.
Wow. Plain? Really?
Yeah, plain. I would, the peanut, I'd be eating these while I'm driving, too, so sometimes I'd choke on the peanut ones. So.
Do you really? While you're behind the wheel, really?
Yeah. Just couldn't stop eating those things.
M&M asphyxiation, I hear it.
If you suck down like about 10 of them at once, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You really get off on that.
I did. I quit smoking. I couldn't stop eating Reese's peanut butter cups and M&Ms.
Wow.
It took me about 6 months to get off of that.
Every week I say, I'm sorry for pulling the pin out of the hand grenade yet.
Don't get me started.
I do it again. Thank you, Chris, for joining us. We appreciate it, and I'll be talking to you very soon, as it turns out.
Yes, and thank you for inviting me.
Okay.
And everybody else has been great working with you.
Thank you for...
It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Raven.
Okay, let's go to Matt Malley, a recovering rock star. Matt, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure. Always a pleasure, you guys.
And I hope your wife, accepts you now that you're going a little hair on the...
Yes, I'm covering the ugliness of my face that God gave me with hair. And it's making her happy.
She lets you in the house.
And you're playing sitar now stuff, right?
Yes, in fact, that's the only place sorry, Mac?
Indian slide guitar, right?
Yeah, Indian slide guitar, yeah. And we have George Harrison to thank for that, for bringing Indian music to all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the only place I exist anymore on the internet. I have my own YouTube channel. I have 5 videos. So if you look up Matt Malley on YouTube, you'll see my little 5 videos. I have 2 videos playing slide guitar.
I saw one today. You're in a white shirt, and a lot of it is I just turned it on and just listened to it for the 20 minutes. I think it calms me down. I want to tell myself it calms me down.
Nice to hear, Matt.
But it does. I have no idea how you play.
Electric sitar.
The great.
They still around?
I think they still make those things.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Electric sitars, yeah. Yep. What's the point?
There was a time I could watch Ravi Shankar all day.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. It was amazing. Saw him in Boston at Symphony Hall.
Yes.
Wow.
And when you see him play on Monterey Pop, it's great. I mean, the guy was him and the tabla player and the whole... The woman on the sarod, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
A sarod, yeah.
Sarod. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I got a couple of his live albums. I think he recorded on World Pacific Records. And it's just great.
Hey, listen, can I just interject about Ravi Shankar? He's great, and a lot lot think he was great. Thank you,
Richards and Ravi Shankar.
Thank you, Switchy, for putting the train wreck image up. That means the show's coming to a close. But listen, isn't he what's her name's father, Paula?
Yeah.
She's
a great singer.
What
is her name?
Come on, someone should know.
She's a sitarist.
Paula. I want to say Paula Cole. Come on, we got to remember.
No, it's not Paula Cole. It's,
no.
She's a really good singer. I can't think of her name, but it's Ravi Shankar's kid.
No one has a Google around. No one has a smartphone around. But she's like a star on her own, even though we can't remember her name, and doesn't really look a whole lot like him. So,
what's that saying, man?
Her mother must be kind of cute. Anyway, but that's inappropriate. So.
Yes, that's it.
Yes, Nora Jones.
Nora Jones, that's it.
Nora Jones, not Paula. Nora Jones, yeah.
She's won a few awards.
Yeah,
she's good.
Yeah, she's good. Yeah. So, Matt Malley, what are you doing? Anything? We should know about.
Dad. I'm just staying at home and being the dad. Other than my little YouTube I'll put up every 6 months or something. I just don't exist anywhere. I'm very happy to say.
Good for you. So. Okay, so that means
John Lennon said, "Just sitting here watching the wheels go round and round."
Yeah, one of the.
I just love to watch them roll.
So that means no work on the book, right, Matt?
No, I haven't been working on the book that much, but I'm just new at this whole writing thing, Mac, and I gotta get into that vibe.
It sucks.
And I appreciate your help that you've given me, and so that's still on my burner.
Good.
Still on my things to do.
Well, just as a little bit of a hint, it turns out the word burner has a lot to do with the successful way of writing.
Aha. All right.
Okay. Wow. Is this on? Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Matt, for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yep. My pleasure, you guys.
All right.
It was so awesome to meet you. Thanks for being on here.
Raven said
you too, Raven. Thanks for being a fan.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Really good show tonight. A lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
There you go. Still got girls giggly over you, Matt.
Oh, I'm a middle-aged, overweight dude, and I'm so happy that somebody's a fan here.
Doesn't make any difference. Wow. Okay.
Let's do this again.
All right. So, hey, Mark Poulin, thank you for joining us, Mark. Mark Poulin.
Hey, my pleasure.
Yeah,
nice meeting you all.
We'll see you soon. We'll sit on the deck in our overcoats, okay?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Watching fireworks or something.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Okay. Switchy. Thank you, Switchy. Switchy.
It was my pleasure.
Did you learn anything tonight? Did you learn anything tonight? Were you educated?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good for you.
Even though I have, as you pointed out, no musical talent.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
Okay. You know, when I compose music for books sometimes, when I read Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury, I had kind of a score in my head.
Really? Yeah? Okay, you might want to talk to someone.
Did you write that stuff down?
I don't know how to write stuff down.
There you go. Okay, problem solved then.
It's kind of coming into a little portable recorder or something.
Don't encourage them.
Yeah.
Thank you, Switchy.
Definitely.
Thank you, Switchy. You look very suave tonight, and you had white turtleneck. Raven,
Thank you.
Thank you, Raven, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, was it really?
Nice to meet you, Raven.
Nice to meet you, everyone.
Nice to meet you, Raven.
We're
Nice
going
to meet
over.
you.
We're going over an old show, and she told us how much that she liked that Winona Ryder. And now I know why, because she looks like Winona Ryder, right? You know? Get that Winona Ryder? Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good one.
You don't shoplift, do
Do
you?
a couple bars of Shake Sonora.
Yeah, I did it last week.
Come on. Play us out, as they say. Okay, well, listen. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Juan. As always, let me do the plugs, right?
You're welcome. This was fun.
Do the plugs? Homes for Our Troops.
Let's do the plugs.
Homes for Our Troops. Go on Google and Google them. Homes for Our Troops is a military charity that builds and gives homes to wounded veterans from the Afghan and Iraqi war. Iraqi wars, what they do is that they build these homes so people like in wheelchairs can kind of get around. They're more accessible. And then they give them the keys, no mortgage, nothing. You know, they don't have to pay for it. They deserve it. They've given away 450 homes. They've built 450 homes in 10 years and given it to people like this. In my opinion, we shouldn't need a private charity to help these guys. I think the Veterans Administration should help them, but that's not the situation now. So go to Homes for Our Troops. 88 cents out of the dollar goes to our veterans. The People's Mosquito Project. Our friend Ross Sharp and his Mad Englishmen friends are rebuilding a mosquito warplane from World War II. It was an all-wood fighter. All wood. Secret phrase of the night. And what they did was... think about it. That's right. That's what she said.
No smoking.
Listen. And put two Rolls-Royce engines
Smoking
on
lamp is not lit.
Wooden airplane. It was the fastest thing in World War II for about 2 years. So fast they didn't even put guns on them. And when they get this one flying again, they're going to give Juan and I free rides. JJ, what do you think?
Without a parachute.
Not you, brother. Yeah, I mean, not me.
Live without a parachute.
Really?
Steal
you go.
Van Halen live album.
You go. I'll follow. So that's it. And we're on, for our local listeners, we're on Seacoast Oldies. What is it, Wani? Seacoast?
App and station. Seacoast Oldies. 92.1, 97.1.
Okay, Seacoast Oldies, 92.1. Okay, hold on. I got to practice this, man. Okay.
Just go Seacoast Oldies.
Seacoast Oldies. Download their app, Seacoast Oldies, right.
That's right.
We are on the radio up here. We love people up here. Seacoast. Okay,
so just Google us. We're on about 17 platforms, including Stitcher, Spotify,
and Alexa.
Horrify, Apple Play, and Alexa.
And
be polite to Alexa, too. Don't be rude.
Last week, we were number 16 in Ireland. Number 16 podcast in news and commentary in Ireland.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
But they're probably drunk.
We're number one with the IRA.
They're probably drunk and left the radio on. You never know, right? But it still counts.
It's a scally cap.
I can say that because I'm Irish. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Okay, we've said goodbye to everyone, right? So thank you for joining us. Let's do this again. Thank you, crew, and for everyone listening.
Mm-hmm. Go to Starboard.
Go to Starboard. Okay.
Did we say goodbye to Rich, even though he's not with us right at the moment?
Yeah, he's there. He might be changing diapers. You don't know. Okay. Thank you for listening to us. We'll do this again. And until next time, this is Mac from the entire gang saying be safe, be happy, and
bye-bye.